Folks, these are the people that are here in this office, and they are the ones who are part of our core team. Now, a couple of them.
Okay, take pictures. Take pictures.
Just look at front.
How many politicians can you talk Oh, that's the caption, right?
Okay. One, two, three, smile. Okay. Thumb down.
Say this election is not about me. I'll tell you how I started in politics. It was my graduating year of university, and I had just finished my degree in computer science and equity at University of Toronto, and I was doing a lot of interview for jobs. But I thought back to what always made me passionate, and that was being involved in the community. Whether I was volunteering as a high school student at Scarborough Hospital, or chairing the Scarborough Youth Council, or helping to form the Toronto Youth Cabinet in the city of Toronto, or becoming a student governor at University of Toronto, where I worked to champion the needs of our post-secondary students. It was always about giving back and serving the community. And that is why, after I graduated and got some pretty lucrative job offers, I decided to put my name in the hat for school board trustee, and this was in 2006. And since that time, I've realized the importance of getting involved. I've had so many wonderful moments and great experiences with the people that you see behind me. And that is why I say it is not about me. This election is about all of us. Yeah. Canada is one of the few Western democracies left with a progressive outward approach. We have a government and a leader who has talked about making sure that Canada remains open to the world, and we have put those words into action. Whether it is by renegotiating NAFTA or signing on to CETA with the European market, or signing on to the CPTPP led by Japan and the Asian markets, working together with economic powerhouses like China and India, Canada continues to look outwards. And we continue to build a country that is inclusive, a country where every Canadian can be proud of who we are and to be a part of what we stand for as a country. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have issues that we need to deal with. We do have challenges. We do have to achieve Indigenous reconciliation. We do need to tackle systemic discrimination and racism, as our Prime Minister has himself said. But we do so with the positive message of hope. We do so by bringing together, not dividing Canadians. We do so by opening our country to new Canadians who come to this country to work hard, and at the same time making sure that generations of Canadians that have worked hard reap the benefits of helping to build this great country. It is why we have put in measures like strengthening our Canada Pension Plan, or making sure that the most vulnerable seniors have more money in their pockets, or helping families through the Canada Child Benefit, which is putting more money into the pockets of 9 out of 10 Canadian families, lifting 300,000 children out of poverty in this country. It is why we are investing in affordable housing, why our Prime Minister came to Toronto just a few months ago with our City of Toronto Mayor, standing together with our Mayor, not making announcements without the knowledge of our Mayor, but bringing our Mayor right beside him so that we could invest over $1 billion for Toronto community housing to renovate and repair units. It is why, as Michael talked about, We are supporting students because education is so important. We have a former education minister right behind me, Mitzi Hunter. We need to support our young people, which is why we doubled the amount of students being hired through Canada Summer Jobs. This year alone, $900,000 was invested in this riding in Scarborough North to hire young people. And you won't find any fake news in my social media, because you'll see some of the visits I've done. In fact, just yesterday I met with a group of students hired through the Islamic Institute of Toronto, and they worked so hard this summer to provide day camp for students, for elementary kids, mentoring them, giving our young people positive opportunities, positive activities to be engaged in. That is so important when we invest in our youth. And it's why it's so important that we continue to fight for the most vulnerable. Sue Wong and I worked on the ESL file at the Toronto District School Board along with Michael and so many of our colleagues. Why do we need to support new immigrants? Because they come here and they work hard. Sue mentioned my parents. You know, my parents came to Canada over 40 years ago from India, right? There's a few Hakka people in here from India, right? Including Jolie, right? And they came to Canada for a better life. They came here to work hard, and yes, they face challenges. Yes, they face discrimination. And as Canadians, we ought to learn from the mistakes of the past. You know, the earliest Chinese came over 100 years ago, and they came here to build the railroad. And then they were denied the right to become Canadian. We learned from those mistakes, and that is why our government continues to welcome new Canadians, because we know that Canada has been built up generation after generation by Canadians who come here to build a better life and make this country even better. I see Gobinder here. He's the president of the Scarborough Gurdwara, just in our riding. The Sikh community came here to work hard, to find a better life. There are so many Tamil Canadians in our riding. They came here to build a better life. So did the Chinese and so many other groups. We ought not to forget that, because that is what our country stands for. You know, folks, this election is not about me, as I said. It's about all of us. It's about the country we want to build. It's about the progress that we want to continue. The strong economic successes that our government has made, lowering the unemployment rate to a 40-year low. 40-year low in this country. Creating, with Canadians, 1 million jobs over the past 4 years, and having one of the strongest economic situations in the G7. We are building on excellence, and we are continuing to strive to build a better country. I look around the room and I see so many people who have been working hard each and every day on this campaign, and there would be too many to name. But you know, it's about Alicia coming in to make phone calls because she knows how important it is. And Alicia, I'm naming you because you had the most number of contacts yesterday. Yeah. So Alicia, when you work on this campaign, you know, you are making a positive difference. You are connecting with voters. You are making sure that they know what our message is, and more importantly, that they come out and vote. You know, Carol had a great phone bank on their first day, but I gotta tell you, when people are responding great, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna come out and vote. In fact, they might just think, well, you're gonna win this election. But folks, I can tell you, if you speak to any one of my provincial colleagues, they can tell you that you cannot take anything for granted. We need people to make sure that if they don't come out and vote, then it doesn't mean anything. That support doesn't count until they come out on October 21st or to the early voting to cast their ballot. And that is what our democracy is about. We fight so hard to preserve democracy, to promote democracy, and yet we have people that don't come out and vote. That's why we need to tell people to come out and vote. Right. And yes. Because when they vote, they are helping to build this country. They are standing up for what we believe in, which is to build a compassionate Canada, an inclusive Canada, and strive to make it a better place. Folks, I will conclude by saying this. I'm very honored to represent this community. I'm very honored as a Canadian of Chinese, Hakka, Indian descent. And let me tell you how special this riding is. Across the street is the Filipino Center Toronto. I saw Monina here earlier. Monina is one of our Filipino community leaders, and Mary Ann right here is in fact our president of the Filipino Community Center. The Filipino community is so important. They're one of our biggest demographics in the riding. I see Gobinder, as I mentioned, he's the president of the Scarborough Gurdwara. The Scarborough Gurdwara is the biggest Gurdwara east of Local 905 in the West End. And we have such an amazing Sikh community here in Scarborough North. I see members of our Muslim community, including Qadsiya and so many others. And we have two of the biggest mosques right here in Scarborough North, the Islamic Foundation of Toronto and the Islamic Institute of Toronto. We have so many Hindu temples in our riding. We have dozens and dozens of churches of all denominations. And Statistics Canada in the last census said that our riding has 91%, they call it visible minority, but I think it's visible majority. It's a racialized population of 91%, and that is the highest in this country. Let me tell you, I am so proud to represent this riding, because this riding gives you a glimpse of what Canada is all about. And it is the people, it is each and every one of you. And I'm not going to start naming people, I'm going to forget. But let me say, it's each and every one of you that make this community what it is. And as a Chinese Canadian, the biggest demographic, well, is the Chinese community, 47%. 47%. And we have so many leaders like Ping Tan, who is known as one of the fathers of our Chinese community, right? We have people like Joseph, who worked in journalism. People like Simon, who is at the Chinese Cultural Center. See, I've started naming people, but I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. You all know I love and appreciate you, so I'm going to stop because I know I'm going to miss somebody in some corner. But let me just say this. We need you. We need you to come out and vote. We need you to come out and support. And we need you to be part of this fantastic campaign. We are phone banking. We are phone banking 7 days a week. 7 days a week, so you come by any weekday, 4 to 9, the phones are ringing. You come by every night, Monday to Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, all day, and we are doing canvassing. We've had a fantastic team, and I shouldn't say this, but we just moved up because of the hard work of our volunteers. We just moved up. And I'm not going to say the number because it's internal stuff, but let me just say that we are in the top 25% of ridings in Toronto for voter contact. And I know my team works hard because they know Shaun logs into Liberal List every night, and that's how he knows Alicia was our #1 canvasser last night. And so I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, because you know when you come in here, you're ready to work, you're ready to build this campaign, and we are working hard together. So with that said, I want to bring up my campaign team.